Hi, Bob. Can you hear me? Before I get started, I'd just like to say congratulations to a guy from the east side of Austin, Minnesota. Made it 40 years in the plant. Sitting next to Bob's my mom, and on Bob's left is my sister Beth and her friend Phil, my brother Mike and his friend Terry. The two little ones are Bob's grandkids, my kids, Abby and Isaac, and my wife is sitting at the end, Ann. And we had a special guest. He's coming from the wilds of Alaska.
Thank you very much.
Where are you going?
I shot that one when I was in Alaska.
You really have a story to tell about this, probably more than once.
I'm not a fast reader.
You're not fast at anything.
You can hear that.
Bob just got a trip to Alaska. Beth, do you want to come up and say a couple words?
From my point of view, I see him walking the coffee machine at about 4:30 every morning in his underwear. And then walking in the door at about 5 and heading straight for a bump and a beer. But seriously, he has been so passionate and dedicated to his life at Hormel. He has told me so many stories about his friends and coworkers there. In fact, you can't go anywhere in Austin without allowing an extra hour or two for him to stop and talk to all the people that he knows. Almost all his conversations are in some way related to fishing, golfing, or Hormel. It's just too bad that he's only good at one of those things. I have to admit, though, that the funnest memory I have with my dad is our fishing trip to Canada. The only thing I couldn't understand is that with all of his years of fishing experience, he seemed to catch the smallest amount of fish. Now that he's retired, I hope he might actually be able to make it up late enough to watch the evening news. And I don't think the naps would be just a weekend thing anymore. On a more serious note, I would like to say that Hormel has meant so much to him. Only recently have I realized how much it meant to me also. He's given me so much, and I'm so proud of him.
I don't know, I got along with him well from the start. I knew he was a good friend before he even met my mother. And maybe that's why I still call him Bob today, but truthfully, he's my dad. And, I mean, he took me to the locker rooms at Maverick games and got me started in youth hockey. Fishing trips to Canada. Very proud of him.
Ready, Bob?
I'm ready.
Turn up your hearing aid.
To all the men we loved before, it's you, Mac, that we adore. You are a little round, you are a little clown. To all the men we've loved before, to all the men we've loved before, it's you, Mac, that we adore. You It's you, Mac, that we adore. You used to be a foreman, now you'll be an outdoorsman. To all the men we've loved before. To all the men we've loved before. It's you, Mac, that we adore. You really like your ham. You love to eat that spam. To all the men we've loved before. To all the men we've loved before. It's you, Mac, that we adore. You like a good martini. Your brain cells left for Tahiti. To all the men we've loved before. It's you, Mac, that we adore. You are a little forgetful. It all settled in the middle. To all the men we've loved before. It's you, Mac, that we adore. We can't say enough what you mean to us. To all the Macs we've loved before.
You and Terry sounded the best. That little line we all kind of
My friends from accounting. Surprised you didn't bring the rock.
A couple of years ago, I guess, we started having a little contest there. Mac was always worried who's going to inventory the rock out in front of the flag. We always seem to have a problem counting it, so we thought, well, we would just set up an award. So whoever screwed up on their year-end inventory always got the rock award. Well, the first year it happened, guess who got it? We had with inventory. And on behalf of Jim, who would like to have been here, he put together a award for you. It says here the Rock Award to Bob McAllister, April 25th, 1998. And last year we thought, well, maybe his last year is taking inventory, that maybe we need to set him up with some special recognition so everybody could identify who he was. So we made him up a helmet that had inventory trainee on it. Naturally, it was a pink helmet. He was standing in front of the rock, and I think last year he did get it right. Bob won, Rock won.
We in the Blue are always concerned about our fellow operation personnel, and Mike McElmurray, my mechanical supervisor in the area, and I were discussing, what would Mac really need when he kind of relocates to the hinterlands of the Arrowhead region. And we thought about it a little bit, and we both agreed that one thing that he wouldn't have access to anymore is the crack mechanical staff he has been so richly blessed with for all these years. Well, we had a couple ideas, Mike and I, that is, but we decided we should pose that question to our ingenious PS mechanical staff. After a long time, what would you say, Ray, maybe a minute, minute and a half? They came up with this very unique idea. And with that, I'm going to let Ray describe a little bit about what this is while I assemble it for him.
Well, there's some assembly required. I didn't realize that. I've been working for Mac for about 6 years, and we don't have a lot of mechanical things in dry sausage as far as Mac's end of it. The drying rooms are a big part of it, shooty ham. The ceiling could be falling down on us, and Mac wouldn't say anything. But you have one piece of ductwork and the drying room's down, and Mac can come in the shop and have a canary, Whenever you got time, get this ductwork put up for us. Okay, yeah, we'll do that. And so on behalf of the mechanical division, Mike McElmurray and Doug Hahn and mainly Mike Miller and myself, we're the open workers, we took care of this. So, Mac, we made something here for you. Maybe you can read it for these people.
It says to hold up your duct work or anything else that droops the guys.
He told me about the big day, and so I had to come for this historic moment. They told me that Frank was your replacement, and I thought Ralph must have had his prerequisite was a big belly.
Don't interrupt me, I'm looking at my stopwatch here. I got 30 years retirement, I'm starting early here.
I think Frank's taking this a little too seriously.
One thing to say to you, Mac, when we last jumped on the scale, I beat you by 2 pounds. So. I'll let it get checked.
Yeah, Frank, when I was great, I weighed 140 pounds.
Bob Mardoka. And he related a little story happened about 4 or 5 years ago. Mac and Bob got involved in the wellness program that they come out with in January on weight loss. And while you talk about two cheaters, come the day for the weigh-in, the big weigh-in at the beginning of the contest, Mardoka had enough coins in his pocket, he could have bought the whole plant coffee 3 or 4 times. Mac had stuffer parts, and he had veins from a couple of stuffers, a couple of stuffing corns. And he was accused of having everything but the batching system in his hip pocket. But I got looking around in the garage, and I found me about a 3-pound lead weight. Bob, if you ever get involved in one of these contests, put this in your hip pocket. Nobody ever know. Everybody accused you of having a lot of lead in your
I was sitting here dining, trying to think of something good to say about Mac. I couldn't. Anyhow, Mac just got the same job, supposedly, that I have. And the thing has been weighted, I think. There's more weight there now than there used to be. I've known Mac for a long time. We started together back in the days of the permafresh in Austin plant. Dry sausage and prep sausage. Through those days, so I know Mac a little better. Anyhow, and talking to Shirley before Mac got married, she was quite concerned about marrying an Irishman. And I told her at that time she didn't have to worry because he was housebroken. So she took some solace from that. The other thing, I was sort of like a mentor, a counselor, if you will. He came to me with his problems, and I tried to deliver. This one day, he was consulting me, and he says, you know, every time I drink coffee, my right eye hurts. And after going over it with him, you know, I found out that if he took the stirring spoon out, oftentimes I got accused for things that he did. Like pouring water in helmets of Carol Gilbert and Howard Peterson. No, I never did that. Now, many of you, I suppose, have been to that hotel complex up there in the North Shore Drive called McAllister Palace. It started out as a cabin, and I can remember the days when that poor contractor up there got called, and we would increase it by the room. And anyhow, it's a lovely place. It sits right on the shores of Lake Superior. It's the, if you remember the Longfellow poem, By the Shores of Gitchiguni, that very romantic feeling. It's got a little creek that flows by, goes down into the lake, and you hear the gentle flow of the waters as they crash against the rock. It's really hard to imagine how that's going to now just dead lane. The other thing that I want to say, he was a little gullible too. And back in the good old days when they had gardens out, I remember out at Captain Cemetery, they had a garden out there. Dave Jansen and Pete Monroe and all those guys, Bob wasn't too familiar with some of the gardening things that took place, And so he would ask for advice. And one of the things I really suggested that he do is get some spaghetti seed. And he'd look for it. But he seemed to have problems locating it. So we have here spaghetti seed for him in case he would like to plant some up around his cabin.
Spaghetti squash.
Anyhow, Bob, have many good times. If you need some help retiring, just call on me. I'm a professional now.
This is really from Dry Sausage Supervision in general. Out of sheer curiosity, we had to know. We asked Mid-State Food Services, our people that run the cafeteria and the plant, to do a study on Bob. We wanted to know just exactly what his eating habits were in the morning. We all had a pretty good idea of what would come about, but after the study was completed, it was found that not only did he keep Mid-State Food Services in business all these years, but that he also consumed more tuna sandwiches than any other employee in the history of the company. So, being very grateful of this, Mid-State Food Services is going to give Mac this plaque here, which just signifies him as being the person who has consumed the most sandwiches of any other employee in the history of the company. It is signed by a Mid-State Food Service representative, so this is for you, Mac.
As we put this program together, that Shirley should get a little something that might help her a little bit with retirement. And the thing that I've got for her here goes back about a year or so, a little over a year. We exchanged gifts amongst supervision up in the office there, and one of the things I found for Mac, I said, doggone hard hearing, and I was getting hoarse hollering across the office at him. So I found a little something that works. We, be damned if you can't hear that. We hung that over his desk, put a little rope across mine, I jingle that, and he'd look at me. My voice healed up, great shape. So what we've come up with here, Shirley, I got enough string here for you that you can probably run this to the garage or other places like this. Where's his most frequent, where's he going to be at most of the time? Like the couch or the table or wherever. You got enough string and there's 2 bells and he answers to this. up and put a little more horsepower in his hearing aid. Now, I give him a bad time about not wearing his hearing aids. Well, it makes too much noise. I hear too much noise. What's the problem? What's the hearing aid for? The other excuse he's got is always dead. Batteries are dead. There. Soup them up. I've been back for 19 years now. One of the most difficult things he did was give up smoking. And he got himself involved in a program over at Mayo with the Nicorette gum. He used to sit in the office before chewing gum and the plant was out of vogue. And he put 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 pieces of stuff in his mouth and chew away like Bessie chewing her cud. If the rest of his body was in the shape his jaws were in, this is Mr. America for the next century. He'd chew 4, 5, 6 pieces of this crap for 5 minutes until he couldn't stand it anymore. Throw it in the wastebasket like somebody threw a golf ball in there. So just to, show a little recognition for this, it wasn't really a tough thing for him. I kept one day's chew and made a little rock out of it. HACCP became the law of the land. And prior to that, we had to set up committees where we went through each one of our processes and develop what our critical control points were and what we had to do to document, verify, and sign all this off and make sure that all of our processes are covered by a HACCP plan. And in dry sauce, we ended up with plus 30 critical control points. As luck would have it, Mac ended up with most of them. And he used to come back to the office, oh my God, I signed my name 300 times today. Well, he doesn't know his name that much. Anyway, with all the work that he did, I put together a little program here so that he's got his own little version of a HACCP plan for up at the lake. We're going to call it his MCF program. Every process has to be monitored, it has to be verified that it's been monitored, and it has to be signed off by a second party to what we call pre-shipment review prior to releasing the product for shipping. In the case of Mac's canned fish program, these are his jobs, making breakfast for Shirley, washing the dishes, vacuuming the house, making the beds. All these he has to monitor, then he has to verify that he did them. But Shirley's got to sign it before he can fish.
Chill beer on the bottom.
I'll bet you Shirley won't sign that one.
Moving in across from Bob some 18 years ago, we used to live right across the street from him. And he's always had a love for corporate people. More advice for corporate people. But, Mac, in your honor today, so that we hope that you'll enjoy your retirement. We all got together over there today, and we decided to take the stock down $3 today.
I may be your worst nightmare. I may be back Monday.
Oh, Floyd tells me you've already signed the paper. We want you to enjoy your retirement. We've had some great times together, and he's been a good neighbor, and that kind of tells you how bad my social life is. To have him as a personal friend. We've had a lot of good times together, and my only dread for the whole thing is Shirley. She's going to have to go through a lot to be with him every day. Max said to me a couple weeks ago, he says, Gary, he says, now, whatever you do, he says, now, I know you'll probably say something, but he says, now, don't get up there and have everybody talk about all my accomplishments and make me out to be a big hero. And off, you know, because I'm a very humble type person. Well, I think you'll agree, Mac, we stuck to the facts today. I could probably tell you a lot about Mac. We've had a lot of personal experiences. Our two wives and Mac, we've traveled socially off and on. And I have a couple stories, I think, that, because you know that all of you that know Mac very well and have worked with Mac and in the plant know that usually it's very difficult to get one up on Mac. We were down in Mexico one time, and maybe some of you have heard this story because Mac likes to tell stories. I've heard a lot of stories from Mac. We were down there, you know, Mac's got this bad back. You know, he's had this back trouble for a long time, you know, and beach, you know, all day. And I think we'd even played golf that day. And we were walking back up about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and we thought our wives were down on the beach still. And we were walking up to the room, and for about 3 days, he had noticed this one sign in this window, massage. Being my self-type person, I said, you know, Mac, that's the best thing there is for a back is a massage. Take one of these little Hispanic girls, and I says, she'll rub you down, and I says, that back thing will go right away. Well, about the 3rd day, he fell for that. And he said, tell you what, he says, I'm going to go in there and get a massage. And I said, well, I'm going to go up to the room and get my swimsuit on. I'll go back down and join Shirley and Pat on the beach. He said, okay. So, long story short, you know, he left, he walked in this door, and so that night, my wife and I, we got ready to go down to the social hour. We said I told him we we're going to meet him at 6:30 that night. So he said, okay, and so we get down there about 6:30, and up walked Shirley and Bob. And I could tell that something was really wrong, because Shirley, being that Norwegian she is, she had a look on her face that, you know, boy, something was wrong. Bob, he looked like he was about half stiff already. Like he'd had about 3 or 4 martinis, you know. And I sat down and he didn't say anything. We looked at him and we said, well, what's the problem? Well, what happened is that when he walked into this massage parlor, he thought he was going to get the massage right there. But this little Hispanic girl, she said, I'll be up to your room in about 15 minutes. And so he fell for that. This is a true story, man. I mean, us corporate guys tell the truth. So this little gal, as we found out later, she got up to the room with her little cart, you know, and all of her bath oils and towels and everything, and Mac opened up the door and let her in, you know, and she strolled this little cart in there, and Mac got prepared, and he laid down in the bed, you know, and I still don't know to this day what he had on. But he said he had his underwear on. Apparently, this young lady's giving him a real good massage on his back, and all of a sudden the doorknob turns, and in walks Shirley. She was just back from the beach. Being that Norwegian, she says, you SOB, she says, would you get out of here? What are you doing to my husband? So she kicked the young lady out of the room and proceeded to give Bob hell. So it was not until we had about, Shirley doesn't drink very much, she drinks coffee, like we're going out of style. We got a couple drinks into Shirley and she loosened up a little bit, and we had a couple more martinis down Bob, and they finally started talking. That was a great experience. And, we had one other, I won't talk very long, but I got to tell everybody this one. We were also down in Mexico, and we went parasailing. Bob, with his bad back, he said, I can't go parasailing. He said, you know, I've just a bad back. I said, well, I'll go first. I said, you hold my valuables, and I'll go up and parasail. So they put me into this thing, and I got behind the boat, and we took off, and I went up in the air, and I waved at our wives on the beach, and so I landed back down on the beach, and I says, Mac, you gotta try it. I says, there's nothing like it. It's so quiet up there. I says, you just gotta try it. He says, well, will it hurt my back? And I says, no, hey, you won't have any pain at all. I says, they put this thing around your back, and no problem. So he says, okay, you hold my billfold and watch and everything. So he gets in this harness, and this boat takes off, and they get about 300 feet out in the water. The goddamn boat runs out of gas. It's not a true story now, man. I don't know if it was because of all the weight or what, but the boat ran out of gas. And so all I could see about 300 feet out there was this parachute come tumbling down. And here's this, big pop belly. He hits the water, and all of a sudden he disappears underneath the parachute. And these Mexicans are diving out of the boat. They're running off the beach, and everything going out to get him, because apparently that's pretty dangerous when the parachute comes down the top of it. And so they got him back to the shore, and Christ, he just looks like hell, I'm standing there, and I still got his billfold watch. I didn't want to lay it down, and I didn't want to go out and help because I was scared somebody might steal his billfold. So he looked at me, and I won't even repeat what he said to me. In small words, he said, thanks a lot. Helping me, he said, I'm lucky to even be here. It's true. We've had some great times, and it's great to see the turnout here tonight. It's a great sign on how Bob and how he's worked for people, with people throughout his entire career. And he's always been one that I've admired because of the way that he's been very consistent in the way that he treats people. And he's been, regardless of what side you're on, he always was up to bat for the people that he thought was doing the right thing. And I always admired that, and we've always had some great discussions about things over in the plant. And he's been a very good person, a very personal friend that I've had an opportunity to be with for the last 18 years. And so the plant's going to miss Bob. One of the things that I hear quite often from the young supervisors after they've been through their training program, and we've heard this quite often, we'll talk to them and say, how's your training go? And they always tell us, the majority of them say, the best week that I had in the plant during training was the week that I spent with Bob McAllister. And that really means a lot to knowing that they're getting some good personal advice from Bob. Maybe a little BS in there. But he's one of the legends that is still left, just leaving in Dry Sausage, and a couple of them are here tonight that have been part of that legend in Dry Sausage. And we're going to miss, Bob, your experience and your know-how, and it's going to be a tough deal to get by without you, but there's a time that everybody's got to smell the roses, and we wish you all the best of luck in your retirement, especially you, Shirley, to have to put up with it.
I had this book, and I went around to all the plant people in Dry Sausage, and all the office people, and we've all signed it. Sent words to you for some just signature, but it's a reminder of Dry Sausage. I'd like you to have it. I have one more little thing. As you know, when I went gambling, that if I won, you always got something the next day. Well, this is the last time you didn't win, but you're still going to get it.
Mac, it's been great to work with you and for you. And they asked me if I would be the bearer of some good tidings and hand you this from the gang. And I
know I speak for all of them, including your singing group. We're gonna miss you all a lot, and believe me, you'll get over it. Tomorrow morning, you won't even worry about it.
The Dry Sausage Bunch, as a group, we've, the folks that have been associated with Dry Sausage, both presently and previously, put together a little, boy, did I have to beat them to get this, but we took up a collection, Mac. I say I had to beat them to get a collection put together for you, but we did come up with a couple dollars. A couple of guys shoveled snow earlier on here, and we come up with a little something here, and this is from all of us. You can open it. Pretend it's a sandwich, for Christ's sake.
This packaging costs far more. I wonder the stock is about.
Your newspaper.
We're in the shop.
Somebody help me read the label.
Oh, hey.
Now sure we'll never see him.
Open the other one. You gotta open the other one.
This is Holly's door type refrigerator, and that's going to work right in well with my shop.
He's been talking about the shop that he built into his garage, and he wanted a refrigerator for it, so the guys went together and got him a refrigerator. We think maybe he should be having a stove and a bed and everything else out there. Surely he's tired and he's got someplace to live.
That'll go real well in my refrigerator.
The Smokehouse Gang, and we've got a little ode to Mac here. We'd like him to read.
Old Matt, I miss your retirement. Do you hear Snickers? And chuckle from that. Airman. Working with you are the fighting, unsightly, chunky mounds. Your bones crackle and crunch. Climbing up to check the temperatures, Mac. Don't go bonkers. You're no sucker. It's crunch time. Get your whatchamacallit in gear and clean up your... Before the final symphony is played, freshen up before your next 100 grand. Be cool, carefree, happy retirement to a special dark I'm going to do the best I can to get through this thing and being out of work. Growing up in a special place called Dutchtown, as a kid I grew up down around the lake. We had some unique things. We had fish houses, we played hockey. They used to have this kind of little pesky kid that kept bugging me all the time. He was kind of a thorn in my side. He wanted to learn how to play hockey, which he never did. He wanted to learn how to shoot, which he never did. And he wanted to learn how to fish, which he never did. And later on in my career, this fellow was going to come back to haunt me, and it happens to be a guy by the name, a little rink rat by the name of John Morrison. Kind of had a thing in the east side of Dutchtown, and we never let West Enders in. And as we passed the torch to the next generation, we passed it on to John, and he failed miserably in that too, because I went over 4th of July, and they had this thing called Spam Days, and there was West Enders all over them. A couple of weeks ago, he came to me and informed me that I was not working within the confines of the contract. And I said, whose contract, John? Yours or mine? I finally promised him I would never do it again in my career. It was a special place to grow up. And as life went on, I kind of fished, hunted, did a lot of things. Went out and got a job at Cleveland Hardware. They had a couple of excellent robots out there. One was Ray Beeson, and the other one was Fritz Herzog. A couple of weeks I was sharing with Jim Peterson and Brett Leapack that when I came to Hormel's, I was a very shy, introverted type person, and they just, It was true.
You come out of Dutch now?
And I remember working in the back end of Cleveland's as a stock clerk, supposedly, and delivering. And finally, Fritz come back one day and he rounded me out. He said, I have never seen such a neat storeroom back here. Everything is in good order, but it's time to get out and meet the people and start clerking. I said, Fritz, I'm scared. I don't know how I'm going to handle all that. He says, try it, you'll like it. And that was pretty good advice because I went out front and I started clerking, and I did like it. I enjoyed enormously meeting people. With that, I came over to the plant, and they didn't exactly welcome me with open arms. I put in my application, and I didn't hear anything. I waited about 3 weeks, and I thought, well, I want them to know I'm interested in going to work for the company, and nothing happened. I went back, and nothing happened. They weren't hired. After about 3 trips, I decided, well, I don't know about this deal. I think maybe it isn't going to happen. All of a sudden, they called one day and wanted me immediately. I said, well, I got to give my boss a couple weeks, and they worked out a deal in a good week. So when I went, I had the lofty job of day order boy. And I thought that was kind of starting out on the bottom. I found out after a few weeks, I kind of touched the nerve of the chairman of the board. I come up his private stairs about 3 times, and I was told that you don't come up Ken Corey steps. And I said, I'm really sorry, I'll never do that again. I didn't. And I got promoted to night order boy. Everybody's got to start somewhere. It's been a great experience, it really has, and I went through some real difficult years in the mid-70s. I've got a few people in this group that really kept me propped up through all of that. And that was kind of this community way, and in particular the formal way. They helped me out through some real difficult times. From despair came hope, from hope joy, and joy love. Shirley, she moved in next door, and I went from 0 to 5 kids in. You did, right? I haven't totally recovered from that one yet. But it's been wonderful. Sean and I were kind of striking out, doing our best. The rest of my family came along. Ken and Mike, Joanne, who wasn't able to be here tonight. She was out in California. The combination of our marriage. But through the years, I am kind of proud, Gary, of a couple things. I had a fellow by the name of Dale April. We ran all of the tests on Cure 81 for a guy by the name of Doc Sipra. I have a certain amount of pride every time I sit down and have a piece of Cure 81 to know that I was part of that for, I think, about 30 years ago. I had a sliced bacon gang, and that was a real learning experience. Joanne, I had 68 women in that gang. Yeah. We started a thing called Layout Bacon in that operation for Marriott. I think a lot of packages and boxes have gone out from there yet. I was a part of that. Here a few years ago, we kind of, our group, the shooting group, we sort of developed a new prosciutto ham, which put a couple bucks on the bottom line, and I'm sort of proud about. But the thing that I'm the most proud about is being a member of the Hormel organization. You maybe have seen me around town with a Spam hat on or a Hormel jacket. Two things there. Number one, I might encourage somebody to buy a can of Spam. Secondly, it's the pride of the company that I've worked with for 40 years. And I'm here to tell you, I think it's a wonderful organization. And the people in it have been absolutely magnificent to me. And today, when I walked down the sidewalk going out of the plant, I came home and I told Shirley I didn't know if I would drive, if I would skip. It was more like getting hit in the head with a 2x4. I was just totally felt stunned. And it's going to be a tough adjustment. I think we're going to a very, very special place. Shirley and I have been chasing this dream along with our children for about 20 years now. And that's going to become a reality. And I think it's going to be a heck of a place to reflect on all of the wonderful people that I've spent my lifetime with. Thank you all very much. In there, I was going to talk about the whole dry sausage group, and I just wasn't going to get through it. But the role models that I had at Cleveland and the role models that I had when I came into the dry sausage. Somebody asked me at one point, one of the executives, what was special about dry sausage. People were different there, and I told him, I said, I don't know if it started with fuzz, but I know it started with heroin. And we were a great group.
Excuse me, I'd like to try to find out.
That's not my forte. That is the first time I've ever been at a podium in my life.
Well, you should do it more often. Would you get along, Mr. Grandma?
Mr. Dubinsky, thank you.
Mr. Dubinsky, he just didn't want Elliot. What do you?
I know, you're Elliot. You're a good friend of mine. We look forward to having you up north.
Well, I hope I can get, hope I can afford to go up there.
They had him run off. People.
I need more than anything right now. The shot is here.
I don't blame you.
Thanks, Clint, for coming.
Oh, gosh, doing the best.